When with Black women addressing racism, I'm talking about the experiences that we often have in the workplace as Black women. So, racism, sexism often go together. I'm going to talk specifically about racism and what Black women may encounter in the workplace and parallel that to what we are seeing of Vice President Kamala Harris during this campaign season. So, I want to really reflect on a quote from the brilliant Toni Morrison. So I'm going to read her quote that she stated about racism, and I invite us to think about in what ways this shows up in our workplaces and as well as what we're seeing with Vice President Kamala Harris. So this is a quote from Toni Morrison. The very serious function of racism is distraction. Keep that in mind, is distraction. So let's think about all the ways that these racist things are happening to distract us from really what is going on here and what the other person or candidate is really bringing to the table. Okay, so distraction. It keeps you from doing your work. It keeps you explaining over and over again your reason for being. So I'm going to segue a little bit from the quote from Toni Morrison. The whole issue about Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, suddenly becoming Black and people asking about her identity, this is all a distraction. It's a distraction from what the main issues are in this campaign. So keep in mind, again, ways that they are utilizing different things as a distraction from the main issues. It keeps you from doing your work. It keeps you explaining over and over again your reason for being. That's exactly what we're saying. And we saw Vice President Kamala Harris during her first sit down press interview, where the interviewer was asking her a question in relation to this race issue. And she was like, I don't even want to talk about this. She gave this it's not even worth talking about it. I'm moving on. It's a distraction. She recognized it for what it was. And this may happen to you in your workplace too. Not exactly like that, but it might be some other distracting things that keeps you focused not on the main issue that's happening, but on some other issue that's really not. Okay, so just keep in mind. Somebody says you have no language and you spend 20 years proving that you do. Somebody says your head isn't shaped properly. So you have scientists working on the fact that it is. Someone says you have no art. So you dredge that up. Somebody says you have no kingdoms. So you dredge that up. None of this is necessary. There will always be one more thing. Again, this is by Toni Morrison. This is my reflection about ways, again, that we're seeing in this campaign with Vice President Kamala Harris, how people are bringing up these things and throwing these kind of land kind of things for her to kind of trip up with, but she's expertly dealing with it. And so this may be happening to you in your workplace as well. Be mindful of what you're dealing with, recognize for what it is. It may be some distraction. I'm not discounting that there's probably racism and sexism and other things probably going on your job too. I invite you to recognize it for what it is and ways that people may be utilizing certain things in your job as a distraction. So keep that in mind as we are moving forward. I'm doing this whole series about ways that what we're seeing happening to Vice President Kamala Harris, how that parallels what many of us are experiencing in these workplaces. So I want us to remember, however, that we do have options. We do have agency, that there are resources available to support you if you're in a toxic job and you're ready to pivot, but you're trying to figure out how to do it. There are resources available for you. They're all in the description section. So as I'm signing off, please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do so. And please share this video with at least 2 other Black women. Okay, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.